Hello, and welcome to Enlightened Energy. My name is Nichole. If you hear any music in the background, I'm playing 528 Hertz, the DNA repair and healing frequency. I want to touch on something that is very close and personal with just about everybody on this planet, and everybody on this planet I think can relate to, which is cancer. If I say cure on this video anywhere, they will delete me just like they've done in the past. So I can't say cure. But I'm curing my cancer. To give you a little backstory on who I am and why I'm even talking about this, I'll just give you a short bio if you've never met me, because I am seeing a few more people that are curious about what I'm doing that don't know who I am. I am an energetic stigmatic. I am stigmatic through God, not Jesus Christ. There is a difference. If you go to search stigmata, you will only find religious stigmata. Let me turn this down just a little bit. You will only find religious stigmata, not a spiritual stigmata. For purpose. This purpose is the same purpose as why most people in this world have cancer. I am just now speaking up about this now, more intimately than I have in the past. You see, when you go through a stigmata, it is a cleansing period that you have to go through. I moved 1,800 miles away from everybody that I knew. What I thought was going to be a promising horse training competitive career. Unbeknownst to me, God had other plans for me. At that time, I did not know I had cancer. On the way down, while I was driving my truck and trailer fully loaded with household, not horses this time, I was driving with my niece. We got out, and watched this geostorm right before Moab, Utah, around 9:30 in the evening. On my GPS, located to the right of me, it said I was going past New Area 51. I didn't know there was a new area. Very interesting. After watching this geostorm that was producing no lightning, only an explosion of light, and in the back there was 3 funnel clouds, tornadoes in Utah. Beautiful starry sky above us. We got in and started driving. I got in and started driving. Within 20 minutes, I had a spontaneous stigmatic awakening. I went into trance for 45 minutes to an hour while I was driving, talking about things I don't have a clue about. Couldn't stop talking until it was all cleansed out of me. At that point, when I was done, I was not the same person. I didn't want to do anything to do with horses anymore. I felt my life shifting, and when I got back down here to Texas, my life changed completely. I was curious about other things besides what I was doing, which was horse training. And from that moment to the next trip back up to Idaho, I had stigmatic visions so bad I couldn't even drive. Having energetic cobras slither up my arm and bite me on the back of the neck. They were not there, but the energy felt them unwrapping their coils around me and slithering like up to my arm, disappearing, and then a painful bite in the back of my neck. After that, I was incoherent for probably until almost the next morning. My niece had to drive. Truck trailer full load of horses through Salt Lake City. I have witnesses to everything that I am talking about. When you talk about energy, anything can happen with energy. At the time when it happened, I was driving, and all I felt was something like uncoil itself around my wrist and slither up to my elbow like that. It was like, boom, and disappeared. And it scared me so bad when I was driving. I screamed and I raised my hand like something had crawled over my hand and did that. And my niece was like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know. And then it was like, ow. It's something, it felt like something bit me. There was nothing there. This is what's called energy. I am a spiritual stigmatic, which means I am stigmatic through energy, not stigmatic through Jesus Christ. God is energy. What the societies want you to believe is that Jesus is the only way to get to God. And these societies have controlled us from the beginning. Try it. They've killed me in the process every lifetime for divulging this information to you that I'm getting ready to divulge to you in the upcoming months, and then my books and everything else. I stay very hermited down for that purpose because of the information that I hold is so valuable to this world that I literally refused doctors, surgery, chemotherapy, any kind of anything that could take my information from me. I jeopardized my own life to be able to get this knowledge out to you. I did not realize I was stigmatic until this spring, even though I'd had many stigmatic experiences, even in meditation groups. I have witnesses for everything. I was elevated like Jesus on the cross during one meditation with witnesses twice. This is nothing to be scared about. It is just energy. We are all energetic beings of God. But what religion wants you to believe is that you can only get to God through Jesus Christ. Unfortunately, when you worship anything that is born of this earth, anything born of this earth is a lower vibration compared to God. And I'm not saying God, this man above with this holy whatever. I'm talking about this big ball of energy that's just pulsating. That's God. God is not masculine. God is not feminine. God is everything. God is feminine when God creates. God is masculine when God stimulates. Therefore, the religions want you to believe that Jesus was the only way. Therefore, they displayed him on the cross for you to see and you to worship. And if you go back and you look at stigmata over the years, saints have had this because they've been worshiping Jesus Jesus, take my sins. Jesus, take everything. I'm not worthy, Jesus. When they went stigmatic, they would have the last days of Jesus Christ, their wounds, his wounds, the holes in the wrist and the blood, bleeding from the eyes, bleeding from the forehead where the thorns were, because they manifested it. They wanted it so bad to feel what it was like to be Jesus. Jesus, you are the most amazing. What does it feel like to be you? Well, let me show you. That's what the religions want you to do. And anytime you worship anything that is of a lower vibration than God, that is a lower vibration stigmata. Stigmata is just tantric energy to its highest max. Now, I have been through 3 years of stigmatic cleansing by myself, with no help from anybody, no books, no lectures, no teachings, no nothing, no gurus. I've done this all on my own because every answer is within you. And that's what God wants you to know, is every answer about you. What you have about you is within you. But that's not what they want you to know. They want you to think that you're not worthy, because when you're not worthy, guess what? You can't heal. And I'm here to tell you, you can. I had a small lump in my breast for years. Never bothered me. I had it checked out in the beginning. It was just an overactive mammary gland. At the time, I didn't know why. I do now, which is what I'm going to talk to you about here pretty soon. After being harassed by my mother, no offense to her, double mastectomy, breast and lymph cancer. My father died of brain cancer. So you can imagine how concerned she was. Even though I wasn't, I was like, it's just an overactive mammary gland, it's fine. I feel great. I finally went in February of 2021, and I had it what I wanted to have it looked at with an ultrasound. With my past history, I have dealt with fibroid tumors. I've dealt with breeding horses, ultrasounds, I've dealt with all that. I'm also a highly functioning autistic woman with 100% Asperger's, which makes me pretty much a genius. So much so when I go to breed my mare, and the vet would have to get the records, I could tell the vet exactly what mare had what, when they ovulated, what follicle they had, what size it was, years down the road. That's how smart I am. I don't forget anything. A blessing and a curse. Anybody with Asperger's knows. I went in to the hospital. All I wanted was an ultrasound. I was I'm an intuitive psychic medium, obviously. I'm a channeling. I channel nonstop. I've been channeling for 3 years for sometimes 20 hours a day. People laugh at me, but I don't have a job. My job is healing my body, healing my mind, and healing my energy, so I can heal this cancer and help you heal. I just wanted to see what it looked like on an ultrasound. But being slightly autistic, I was a little nervous. I'm also a super intense empath from being stigmatic. Therefore, I take on everybody's energies that I'm around. And if they aren't the greatest, then it puts these bad thoughts in my head, and I get succumbed to their energy. Therefore, I have to stay away from a lot of people sometimes to clear my energy. I was told that it looked like cancer, but they would have to do a biopsy. 511 and 1511 on the counter. Look up 1511. That's an angel number. Somebody look up 1511. I wanted to see what it looked like the ultrasound because I've seen tumors before. I've had fibroid tumors. I understand. I know. And in the next breath, they said they had to do a biopsy to see exactly what we were dealing with, but it looked like cancer. And that's all I wanted, because from there, I was going to get to work. And I told them multiple times, look, I'm slightly autistic, so you need to be open with me, because if you hold things back and you lie to me, I know, and I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. And therefore, I take on your energy, and it's like I'm being drawn into your energy. This is before I really pull it back and separate that energy. And next thing I know, I'm in for a biopsy. I told him for the ultrasound, I'm a powerful healer, and I'm going to heal this on my own. I'm slightly autistic, so don't, miss anything. Make sure you communicate with me. But COVID, you know how that was. He's doing this biopsy with like this huge like suit and mask, like he doesn't want, it was just horrible. So I'm in for the biopsy. Same thing. I'm very vocal about who I am and what I'm doing, because I want to make sure everybody understands, so there's no miscommunication, because I don't lie ever, and I don't appreciate people that do, because I know when you're lying, because it's just who I am. So as I'm sitting there waiting, I'm looking at these things that they're getting ready to stab me with, and I looked at her and I said, I'm trying to heal this on my own. Is this gonna aggravate it, make it angry? No, ma'am, this is protocol. It's fine. This is just what we're supposed to do. And I'm like, okay. Laying there, watching her stab it multiple times on the ultrasound. I'm watching this whole thing. Stabbing it in and out, in and out. Lidocaine over and over, and then stabbing it a couple times with the biopsy needle. I told her, I said, are you sure this isn't gonna piss it off, is what I said. Because I would be mad if I was a tumor. Nope, this is gonna be fine. We just need to check it out and see what it is. It's just protocol. Got all done. She goes, okay, now we need to take you in and take you in for a mammogram to make sure that we have a clear picture of the marker that we just put in. A what? A what? A marker? Oh, you mean like colored dye, like the CT scan colored dye? Oh, okay. No. When I seen the picture, they shoved a titanium triangle marker inside of my tumor, unbeknownst to me. Never told me they were going to do this. After multiple times of telling them over and over of who I am and what I was going to do, I was going to heal this. And I told them I had no plans, zero, of getting surgery. No plans of getting either chemotherapy. Because what chemotherapy does is it robs you of your life force energy. So all the 3 years of intense meditation that I have done, 8, 10, 20 hours a day, ask anybody that truly knows me, they know. I don't do anything but meditate and talk to God, nonstop. I've healed myself. I had a heart attack in this house. I healed myself and I'm fine. I went from a stage 2 breast cancer that I was going to heal on my own, 4 months, to a stage 4, and it spread throughout my breast, my lymph, and my bone. 3 spots in my spine it hooked onto, with the help of the biopsy. Think about it. They don't want to do surgery on a tumor, right? Because it's hooked up to blood vessels. So they shrink it with chemotherapy, and then they cut it out. But it's still hooked up to blood vessels. So what do? They spread it throughout your system. But guess what? A tumor is full of blood vessels, right? Because they're growing. So think about it. If you're going to stab it, you are entering that tumor and going through those blood vessels and spreading it throughout your body with a biopsy. Now, I've had a conversation with the hospital a few times, and they insist on telling me that biopsies do not spread cancer, which is really interesting. Because when I had my hysterectomy, when I was 30, because I was full of fibroid tumors, I had to have a blood transfusion because I was bleeding to death. 3 years later, I had to have another surgery because a fibroid tumor cell floated around and hooked onto my colon. And it was 7 inches and they had to remove it. And then they found another one a couple years later. I have proof that surgeries spread cancer. I have proof that biopsies spread cancer. I had tried different modalities, the Fenben, the Wormer, all that stuff. But my higher guidance, which was my higher self, which is what connected with God, because all of our soul, every single person, every single animal, everything that is living that has an aura around it, that is living, has a soul. And that soul is what makes up God. So if you can clear your channel good enough, you get the best, highest version of God, form, energy, knowledge, everything, more than anybody else can. Going through a stigmatic cleansing, what that means to me is spending hours in this house in trance state with visions and seeing my past life death. Not just death, but deaths. I had to clear the most intense, painful, horrific, that you can't even imagine, shit that you can't come back from hardly. Deaths. Taken back into that state and seeing everything. Not physically feeling it, but energetically feeling the pain, the emotions, everything. I can give you intimate details on the past. I have been so many things you cannot even imagine. I had to go through this because of the karma that I incurred during these deaths. Why am I talking about karma and spirituality when I'm talking about cancer? Because it has everything to do with cancer. Nobody knows why people have cancer, but it seems like everybody has the ability to have cancer. They've never found the root cause for cancer. You know why? Because unless you understand energy, you never will. In one of my past lives, I committed suicide. I used a male cobra, a royal cobra, and I committed suicide by having it bite over my heart, giving me breast cancer in the next lives. And if I was masculine, I had heart issues. So if I came back as a feminine, I would have breast cancer. If I came back as a masculine, I would have heart issues. Because when you take your own life, that is something that you have to come back from afterwards. And it's not so pretty, so I wouldn't recommend committing suicide. If you have what's called a karmic death, which is manifesting your own death. that is also something that you have to heal from. So what happens is every lifetime that you don't heal from all the things from your past lifetime, it adds up and adds up and adds up and adds up, like in this karmic suit that you have to wear every time you come in incarnation to this earth. I know this because I've seen so many deaths, and I understand why I have so many issues. I understand why my back was fused behind my throat chakra, behind my heart chakra, behind all of my chakras. I understand why I had fusions of the way I was killed in ancient Egypt. I understand why there's certain things that I don't like. It's from past lives. I had to see it to believe it, because I was being told who I was energetically in past lives, and I wasn't believing it, because I've always thought of myself as a nobody, because I hung around people that thought they were nobodies. And being a super high empathic, you are who you hang around with. So I had to get away from everybody and clear all of my energy and get away from, I mean, even family. Because everybody holds an energy, and if it's not a healed energy, it is toxic for me. And when you're talking healing from a stage 4 cancer, it is very important to protect your energy. I am healing my cancer. I am curing my cancer. I will say it again. I am curing my cancer. I know this because I went in for a CAT scan in August. And I'm a researching fool too. When it comes to like, okay, what's been done for cancer, what's not worked, what's worked, you know? But I also see the bullshit when I search too. Because the FDA and everything else likes to put little subtitles to scare you into not doing it, like microcurrent. Don't use microcurrent, it's so scary. Why? Because it heals cancer? You're changing the cells to the ATP in the cells, which is the garbage in the cells. You're cleaning out them cells and re-energizing, and reinvigorating those cells. Why wouldn't you want to do that to cancer cells? Cancer's just swelling, god damn. If you don't heal yourself mentally and energetically, you will get what you're predisposed to have. I was predisposed to have cancer. Obviously genetically, right? Because my father and my mother had it. Mentally, because once you are around it, guess what? Your mind subconsciously is like, oh, my parents had it, so I'm probably gonna have it. You're programming your mind to have cancer. So therefore you start taking steps that take you off your path of healing into the areas that are gonna give you cancer. Now I'm going to tell you something. This is really interesting. In one of my trance states, I release blocks in my body, scar tissue, trauma, all that kind of stuff. And I released a trauma that was, when I released it, it pinged off the back of my head, right behind my ear. And when it did, it pinged off my breast cancer tumor and actually moved my breast cancer tumor at the same time. And then I had a trance state vision at that same time, telling me what that was all about. Years before my mammary gland went haywire, I was in a horse accident. I came off and I got hung up in the stirrup for just about 5 seconds, but it was, maybe it's 10, I don't know, it wasn't that long. It was enough to whack me in the head a couple times with a hoof, enough so I seen lights. Dislocated my jaw, tore my rotor cuff. But I'm a tough cowgirl. Got back on, made a few more runs, had some help, you know, lifting the saddle up because I couldn't move my arm. The jaw was like cockeyed, but yeah, I still did it, you know. Because you're just tough, right? You just work through that kind of stuff. I did. You know, nobody else was going to do it. It was my career. You just do it. But that hit that I took right there was a functioning part that functioned that mammary gland. And when I did that, it made my mammary gland go haywire. And then from there, I had a chance to heal it. And I didn't. I never did. I would just keep working, keep working, keep working, keep working. Because that's what we're programmed to do, right? Because we're all in that lack mentality. We're never going to have enough, never going to have enough, never going to have enough, because our minds are mind effiness every single time. That we don't have enough, that we can't have what we truly desire. Why? It all stems from religion. Because they want you to think that you're not worthy of God, so you have to go through Jesus, which really makes you not even worthy of Jesus, right? So you're double not worthy. This is a little secret that they don't want you to know. Because they can make billions of dollars by making you feel like crap. Not only that, they can dump their biohazards with the chemtrails, which they do over Dallas and Fort Worth. I see it all the time. It's just nasty. I've had skin eruptions I've never had issues with acne my whole life, right? 40-some years old. I moved here and it's like within a year I started getting these skin eruptions. I'm like, what? Everybody else has them too. It's really weird. It's from the chemtrails, the biohazards that they dump, the waste that they dump down on you. Isn't that sad? They take biohazard and dump it all over. Nanoparticles that goes into your skin, into your bloodstream, and makes you sick if you don't try to heal your body and eat healthy and drink healthy. Just so they can make money by you going to the doctor for the pharmaceutical. That's all it is. It's just money. You are just a paycheck. I am here to teach you how to take your power back completely. When I went in for my CAT scan, I started my new protocol 4 days prior to my CAT scan. Within 40 days, what they call a satellite arm coming out of my tumor was actually the biopsy needle. It was a long, straight piece, and then another little cancer tumor on the end. Well, that's where they pulled the needle out, right? And the cells clumped on the inside of the skin. So that little tumor was growing, then I had a satellite arm, then a satellite arm on that backside. Well, that's because it went all the way through the tumor, but it's a straight shot, right? Same size as a needle. But biopsies don't do that. But think about it. You're puncturing a tumor with blood vessels. Yeah, it's going to do it. They're lying to you. They're all lying to you. Just so they can get that and then stick that chemo in your blood. Because once they do that, they got you. Then you're going to be on prescriptions probably much your whole life because they're going to brainwash you. That satellite arm, when I went in for my CAT scan, was hard as a rock. You couldn't bend it. I know. I live with it every day. 40 days after this protocol that I'm doing, the new one, you can bend it in half. It's flexible. Cancer's going away, swelling's going down. I'm putting it back into a natural state, which is what I've been studying, and it actually does put it into a natural state. Except for the tumor that has the titanium marker in it. That one is a little bit bigger because of all the scar tissue that it has received from being poked and shoved a marker in. I'm still not going to get surgery to have it removed. I do not do surgery. I do not do needles. I've never been touched with a needle except for in the past when I had to have surgery. So I get to live with that titanium marker for the rest of my life. And I am healing my stage 4 cancer that was supposed to be terminal. Because once you have bone cancer, you don't come back from that, they say. Because the more you read, the more depressed you get, because it's like, well, 3 to 5 years for bone cancer. Everything is in your head. What do you want? Do you want to live or do you want to die? Because if you want to die, guess what? You're going to die. But if you want to live, guess what? ideas will come to you, you'll meet people, you'll hear my video. You may even see me on the street like a couple days ago. I went out and had a glass of wine at Granbury and just talked to people on the street. I probably talked to 100 people that day, telling them my story. You know how many lives I felt I changed that day? None of them knew anything about what I was talking about. But everybody had been touched by cancer. Everybody that I talked to had been touched by cancer. And I give them the protocol on the street. That is how passionate I am about helping people. Even if you do not have cancer and you're worried about it, you're going to get cancer. Because what you think about, you bring about. I have been speaking into existence. I am curing this from day one. And you know what? By August, from February to August, you know what? Maybe I didn't. But guess what? I am now. Because that train of thought and that mentality has led me onto a trail of different things that I could use, different people I can meet to actually find a cure for cancer. Not only that, I have the cure for Candida blood infections. Now, if you look up Candida yeast in your blood, this is what really got me curious about it. I had a friend that had a machine. You put your hand on there, and it goes through everything in the computer. I mean, it's an expensive test, but they test everything that's in your whole everything. And the one thing that I had in there was Candida yeast. It's like I've never had a yeast infection in my life. I don't understand. I don't get it. Researched it. Everybody has Candida yeast in their blood, but nobody knows why. The doctors don't know why. The doctors don't even have a cure. They can make you feel a little good. They patch it up with a Band-Aid. Give it a little something that, you know, gives you about 3 or 4 more other things you got to take a pill for, you know. It's all about the money. I'm giving away my information for free. I want you to think about it like we just did with the tumors. I discussed with you about the tumor. Full of blood vessels. When you cut around the tumor, you cut the blood vessels, you spread the cancer. No matter how big it is, if it's cancerous or not. You need to take it to a natural state. Otherwise, you're going to risk that. Those cancer cells can float around in your body for years and years and years until you finally mentally tell yourself, you know, or you take those roads where you're going to get it again, and guess what? You get it again. That's why people get cancer over and over and over, no matter how many surgeries they have, because the cells float in your body once they get loose from the biopsy and the surgeries. So don't do it. Now I want you to think about this. If you think about an obese person, they have their fat rolls. Some parts they can't get up underneath and clean. It creates yeast infections. You can research this. Everything I speak about is the truth. It creates a yeast infection from those folds of the skin not being cleaned or moved. Now I want you to think about this. As a baby, you are hooked up to your mother through your umbilical cord, which is your blood supply, correct? That's where your blood supply, your nutrition, everything goes to your umbilical cord. Everything's hooked up to that. Now picture this. Inside your belly button, there is folds of skin. That belly button lint that you think you have in there is not lint, it's yeast. The folds of your skin inside your belly button, I have what you call an innie. It's a really cute little belly button. I mean, it's just like, you know, I don't need to see it or not, but it's just like, you know, I'm good. It's it's cute, it's not dirty. But the folds inside of it create yeast because they don't move. And that yeast goes down into the umbilical cord where you were hooked up to into your blood supply, therefore giving you Candida yeast in your blood from the time you're a baby. And if you Google, research, whatever you want to call it, Candida yeast in blood, brain fog, lethargia, hormonal issues, sickness, disease, inflammation, pretty much everything is caused from Candida yeast in your blood. And depending on how you take care of yourself is what those things are going to predetermine what you're going to get. So you don't feel very good, you're tired, you can't think straight, ADD, ADHD, all these things are part of Candida yeast in your blood. I was given the protocol, how to cure it. I did it that night, and the next morning I felt amazing. I had so much energy, I was like a 3-year-old ADD kid running around like, oh, I got so much energy, I don't know what to do. Oh. Head was clear, like no brain fog, just my thoughts were just clear. My communication with spirit, which is my higher guidance, was just boom, spot on all the time, 24/7. It don't matter. I'm a channeling fool. I channel all the time. I'm channeling now. I just let my higher self take over, and my higher self talks out of my mouth and is giving you this message. So I'm actually channeling this message through my higher self right now to you. I don't know anything until it comes out my mouth. That's how I channel. I did the protocol and I felt amazing the next morning. I give it to a few friends of mine. Same effect. Amazing. This will cure Candida blood infections too in the body, which in my research is probably the #1 cause of most all issues that we have. The start of it. Think about it. You have a Candida yeast infection in your blood body from the time you're a baby to the time you die. Imagine how crappy you feel by the time you're old and decrepit and your joints are joint issues, inflammation in the joints. Everything is from Candida yeast. Probably cancer too. So not only have I found the cure for cancer, I've actually found the cure for Candida blood infections, which we all have Candida yeast in our blood. Obviously, because we all have lint in our belly, right? I can clean that sucker every day, but you know what? After a couple days, there's just a tiny little bit of lint in there. I'm like, ew, it's yeast. When you start thinking that that's not lint, it's actually yeast, you're like, ew, I got a yeast infection in my belly button. And it was clean. It's not like I'm getting gobs of yeast. It's just, I can't imagine what people have that have dirty belly buttons, how they feel inside. Something so simple as that. And it's so inexpensive. And it's all natural. All 100% natural, organic. It's taking all the swelling out of my cancer, taking my cancer out. I do spot treatments on my spine. I got 3 spots now where I had degenerative joint disease or degenerative disc disease from all the accidents I've had with the horses. And that's where it liked to leech onto. So the great thing about the CAT scan is I got to figure out where everything was, start the new protocol, the new treatment, do spot treatments. It's going away. I never had to do anything, but just talk to God. People give their power away every day with the words that they speak, the words that they think. Guilty. The hardest thing is to be alone, and I've had to do this all alone by myself, but it was for purpose. I didn't know that I was a super empath stigmatic. I didn't know any of that until the beginning of this year. And then once I I channeled that I was a spiritual stigmatic, and I was like, whoa, what's that? And so I researched stigmata and freaked out. I was like, oh my God, that's scary as F. I didn't go through any of that. And I was like, whoa. And Spirit's like, you're not a religious stigmatic, you're a spiritual stigmatic through energy, through God source energy, not through Jesus Christ. If you go stigmatic through Jesus, you get the physical wounds of Jesus, which is the lower vibrational stigmata. That's all it is. The higher vibrational stigmata is going through a spiritual stigmata, tantric energy. But you have to have no limitations. And that's what religion puts on you, is limitations. The society that has killed me over and over and over and over for divulging this information is the same society that owns and has controlled the AMA, which is the American Medical Society, the FDA. They own the chemtrails, they own everything. They own Facebook, they own YouTube, they own Instagram, they own everything. Anything in the media, they own it. The government, they play him like a little violin. That's why they didn't like Trump, because they couldn't own Trump. That's why I will die being a supporter of Trump. Trump is the only one that has ever actually truly cared about this country. Everybody else is being microorganized, you know what I mean, manipulated by the same society that I've been killed by over and over and over. I plan on taking them down this lifetime. And it's not through healing everybody physically like I used to do, but healing everybody through how to teach them how to heal. I am an advocate. I'm a Reiki master. I had to go have my chakras opened up and attuned, which means expanded my energy out. And so I went to a Reiki master, a really good one, a real one, that got trained by an old generation Reiki. God put me in the path with her, and I spent months with her, and she opened me up energetically, and from there I just took it on myself. I've got, you can't even believe all the certificates that I got, you know, like Reiki and shamanism and sound healing and that kind of stuff, and I have never once healed another person physically with my hands. And I still truly believe that a person should never, ever heal another person through touch. No matter how you try, you infuse your energy with the energy that you're bringing through. And you're bringing through a dirty energy if you haven't been through a full cleansing. I was going through a stigmatic cleansing and I didn't even feel, and I'm still being told not to touch people to heal. Because I am human, just like Jesus was. I'm human. I'm born on this earth. I'm not God energy, because I'm born here, but I channel God source energy. There's a difference. Therefore, I am here to channel a higher vibrational energy through my words to teach you how to heal yourself and take your power back personally. You know why? Because if I'm healing you, you're giving me that power over you. Therefore, you never truly feel like you're really doing anything but just accepting the energy, and you're still feeling less than. I'm going to teach you how to be powerful. I'm going to teach you how to heal yourself, your mental, your energetic, and your physical. You've got to heal your mental, because your mental will take you down that road. Your mental tells you where to go. Because if you don't heal that mental, you will always take that left-hand turn instead of the right to healing. Because it feels good. Pain feels good when you're used to pain. Telling yourself all this stuff about yourself that's not true. When you hear the word ego, all ego is fear. Ego is the devil. When you hear somebody say, oh my God, she's egoic, It has nothing to do with the person they're talking about, but everything to do with the person that's speaking it, because they're projecting their egoic fears upon the person that they're talking about. That's why you should never talk about another person. In ancient days, we had telepathy. We have energetic cords attached to us. Every time you have a communication with somebody, whether it's be on the phone or face-to-face, you connect an energetic cord to them. And that is for purpose, because in the ancient days, we all used telepathy. But when you're always thinking about things all the time, all these other people, you're fragmenting your energy everywhere and taking your power away from you. That's why they love to give you all these media, like Facebook and everything, because you're constantly thinking about everybody else and taking your power away from you. All these things were designed to take the power away from you, and I'm here to give the power back to you and teach you how to take it back. That is my job. If I can go through what I have gone through and come back feeling and looking like this, anybody can do it. It's easy. God gave me this purpose because I am tough and I never quit. And when they look me in the eyes and tell me what they think I should say and do, I don't back down. When somebody tells me I can't do it, I just say, watch. I'm gonna do it. I've done it. And I am doing it. When somebody tells you you can't, that is a projection of their own egoic fears, because they can't do it. It's not possible because they've not been able to do it. If everybody says they can't do it, guess what? Nobody can do it. That's why I had to be here alone in my house and go through the stigmata alone. Because the only thing I had in my head telling me was I can. Spirit, my angels, guides, my Father, Archangel Michael, whatever you want to call it. Spirit, I call it spirit. Anything of a high vibration that is going to give me the best information, that is going to help me to the most max ever, that's the information that I want. And the only thing that they were telling me is, I can. I was doing things in this house that shouldn't be able to be done. I shouldn't even be here. I should be dead from a heart attack last year. I never went to the hospital. This right now is the max of a hot flash I'm having. You can see a little glistening right now. I've been using this Candida formula now for about a week and a half. And I was having hot flashes so bad. It was every 20 minutes, and I was soaking. I mean, we're talking dripping off my face in a pool of sweat every 20 minutes. Now I am, 53 minutes, so about an hour and a half now, and I get a little bit of a warmth and glisten. See, I'm warm, but I'm not pooling sweat, I'm not dripping sweat. My hot flashes are going away from being able to cure my Candida yeast in my blood supply. And if you research Candida yeast, it will cause hormone fluctuations. You know how much money we can take away from the FDA and the pharmaceutical companies if we take our health back? Everybody's screaming about these things that we don't want. We hate them, we hate them, we hate them, we hate them. Do something about it. Hot flash is done. Look at that. I didn't even get a drip of sweat. If you hate them so much and you want to get rid of them, do something about it. Don't sit there on your phones and scream, I hate the pharmaceutical companies, I hate COVID, I hate. Do something about it. God is tired of listening to everybody screaming about everything and not doing a thing about it. I can help you if you're willing to listen. I know it's hard for some people to listen to a woman and an ex-cowgirl that was on the verge of being atheist, because I've been through a molestation and everything else in my life that is just absolutely horrible. Who would want to listen to that? It's fine. I don't need to make anybody listen to me. But I'm going to get healthier, I'm going to get stronger, and I'm way more powerful than I ever have been in my whole entire life. And I want to teach everybody else how to take your power back. Because once you take your health back, that is your power. If you don't need pharmaceutical drugs anymore, guess what? They go bye-bye. If I can heal from a terminal stage 4 cancer, and everything else that I've healed from with absolutely zero help from the doctors or their drugs, you can too. No matter how far gone you think you are. What I am bringing breaks the blood-brain barrier, goes straight into the blood system, and is a free radical scavenging mother lover. Anything that it is not natural to your body, scar tissue, trauma, cancer, fungus, bacteria, viruses, they're using it to cure COVID. It's just, the whole ivermectin thing has got to stop also. Ivermectin is nothing but a toxic poison. Yes, it kills worms. I used to be a ranch manager in a department store. I remember back in the 90s talking to reps with horse wormers, because I had horses and I was the department manager. It hasn't changed anything in the ingredients in the 90s. It's still the same thing. It's just poison. It poisons the parasites out of you. Yeah, it works. But if you keep taking it, it does bad damage to your organs. I don't care what the doctors say. Are you going to believe the doctors? We just had, what, an hour conversation here. And you're going to tell me that ivermectin's not a poison. It's fine. Because if they can't get you to take their COVID shots to poison your body, they're going to fuel all this wonderful garbage on the internet saying, take wormer for COVID. Well, getting rid of worms, yes, is going to make you healthier. And the formula that I have also kills worms, but it's natural. Trust me, I took Fenben for about 6 weeks. After 6 weeks, I was channeling my higher self so I get off of it. It starts to do damage to your liver and everything else. And if you have any kind of breast cancer issues, do never, ever, ever, and if you're a woman, you shouldn't take it anyway, take the horse paste ivermectin. There is a hormone in the paste that will make the breast cancer hormone driven even more aggressive. They don't want you to know all this stuff because it's just more money in their pocket. They're trying to get you sick with the COVID shot. That's why they want to make you get a shot to go to work. I know nurses and doctors that are quitting their jobs as a nurse and a doctor because they said you can't work without the COVID shot. And they're like, you know what? Fine. We need more people like you that have a heart, that know, you know what they're doing. You know. The AMA, the American Medical Association, was founded in the 1800s to kick out homeopathic completely so they could get their pharmaceutical garbage down your throat. And they have pushed everything that is natural away from everybody. They always put disclaimers on everything. They've been trying to pass what I'm using to cure cancer, they've been trying to pass it through the FDA for 20 years. And the FDA won't pass it, even though it does all these remarkable things to your body, including putting your body back into 100% homeostasis. How do you like that? It can take, when you mix this and Dmso, or not Dmso, Dmso and MSM together, You can research it. Dmso and MSM put your cancer into a natural state, which is what I'm doing. You have to be careful with it because it is what they call a solvent. The hospitals will put a little Dmso on your skin and then put a tiny little bit of medicine and it goes right into the bloodstream. Therefore, if you have fingernail polish, acrylic nails, you wear plastic gloves, anything that's not natural. Okay, let's get that clear right now. Dmso does not like anything that is not natural. You have like grease on your skin and you get some on your hands and then you put Dmso on there, it's gonna take that grease right into your bloodstream. So yeah, you gotta be a little careful. Just wash your hands and clean your nails. It's really super easy. I've never used gloves and I use it every day. Never use. I use scalp treatments on my head every other day. You know, a scalp treatment of Dmso on your head will get rid of the brain lesions in your brain. No more brain cancer. Amazing, huh? It loves anything that is cancerous, anything that is inflammation. Dmso loves anything with inflammation. It's like a little Pac-Man, it just eats it away. I'm trying to get this information out as much as possible to everybody, and please share this video. If you can't use this information, you might know somebody or somebody else can use this. They may not know they have cancer. You know how many people you could save if you internally, orally, they say, don't drink it, don't drink it. I drink it every day. I drink a tablespoon every day with my formula. I've actually got it almost tasting like a mojito. I'm playing with the formula right now because it is not the best tasting thing. But you know what? When it comes to your health, 1 tablespoon of that a day keeps the cancer away. Isn't it worth it? Teaspoon of that a day keeps COVID away. Fill up your belly button with Dmso and lay down for 20 minutes. That Dmso goes right into the bloodstream and kills all that fungus because Dmso is an antifungal, antibacterial, antivirus, anti-inflammation, anti. And it's natural. It's sulfur. So if you're allergic to sulfur, you might not want to use it. Other than that, it's not right for them to take us and use us like cattle every day. I have never been treated so lowly in my life until I got cancer. I've not been able to work for 3 years because I've been going through a spiritual stigmata. Therefore, I'm extremely tight on money. I had to get on Medicaid to be able to have the ability to go get ultrasounds and CAT scans. Never used Medicaid for anything else but just the ultrasound and the CAT scan. And I have been treated so poorly. Like a number. Like a cattle going to slaughter. They did not hear a word I said from the time I sat down to get my first ultrasound to the time they shoved that titanium marker in there, because all they are just robots. They do the same thing every day to the same person. They don't hear you one bit. Well, they're going to hear me. And they've already heard me, trust me. I have a real big mouth when it comes to health now. And especially when people play God over you. When people think they have the ability to play God over you, Just like the doctor that did my hysterectomy. I told him I wanted everything out because of my years of everything. Never wanted kids, I was fine. At the last moment on the table, I even told him before I went underneath the anesthesia, we're getting everything, right? Yep, great. Only to wake up to my mother saying you're gonna be mad. He put or left the right ovary in there. And you're right, I was mad. He didn't even have the audacity to come and see me after surgery when I said he needs to come in here and talk to me right now. He wouldn't even answer my message until the next day late at night, because I even called the next morning. I need to talk to the doctor right now. He didn't have the balls to talk to me. I'd have pain every month for years. Guess what? 2 weeks after surgery, I had pain. I had a cyst in my ovary. Guess what? My breast cancer is hormone driven. That doctor that took that initiative to leave that in there, even though I knew better and I knew my body, did not listen to me. And because of that, I have cancer. Because the doctors and those people shoved that titanium marker in there and did all that unbeknownst to me, never even took what I was saying in their ears. It's like I wasn't even there. It's just like auto-programmed. You're just like robots. I now have cancer in my bone and lymph. They may not have heard me before, but they are going to hear me now. Mark my words. And when I'm done, the AMA and the FDA are going to hear from me too. I plan on everybody. If you have been the victim of a doctor, I want to talk to you. Because we're going to change some things. I have God leading my path. I know I am right, and I know I am in the right. And I know my information is 100% correct. And I have all the faith in myself, and I have all the faith in God. Because if it wasn't for God and Spirit, I would not be here. That's about all I have to say about that. My name is Nichole, and I am a cancer survivor. Have a blessed day.